Caroline, welcome to InvestorStream. NRG has secured a 3-year extension for all 3 of the exploration permits at its flagship Agadez uranium project in Niger. Firstly, can you just talk us through the renewal process and the strategic importance of these permits?
Yes, I have just come back from a trip from Niger where I met with the department heads of the Mines Department and also the Minister of Mines. And that's been part of a series of ongoing discussions that we've had with the government. They've always been very, very positive, and I'm pleased to say that after my last trip, the renewals have been granted. They've been granted without any relinquishment for a period of 3 years. And against the backdrop of some of the political uncertainty that we saw in Niger following the changing government last year, we have been cautiously optimistic about our renewals. But now that we have them, I think it's a really important line in the sand and an important milestone for the company so that we know we have security of tenure and we have an opportunity to advance on the assets and continue to the work that we've already done on that project.
Thanks, Caroline. Now, NRG is at the forefront of uranium exploration globally, having successfully acquired the Lamont Lake uranium exploration project in Saskatchewan, Canada, earlier this year. Now, the industry's development remains a central talking point for investors. With your asset portfolio, how is the use case for uranium strengthening as part of the clean energy transition?
So the main theme is decarbonisation and energy, and it's been emerging over the last few years with a focus on reducing carbon emissions. At last year's COP, we saw 22 countries, including the US, Canada, Britain, France, and Japan, all pledge to treble their nuclear energy capacity by 2050 in order to meet the net zero targets. In addition to that, we've got the World Nuclear Association indicating a 40% increase in demand that they predict between 2020 and 2040. And coupled with that, we're looking at a reduction or an expected reduction in supply of around 20% over the same period. In addition to that, you've got a response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, where countries have now basically have been trying to find ways to reduce their reliance on other parties in order to meet their energy requirements. So against this background, we're starting to see countries re-embracing nuclear power and committing to new nuclear builds. We've got the US, who have enacted a number of legislative and policy initiatives to reduce their reliance on Russian nuclear fuel. So that has been a really interesting and important development. We know that nuclear users are not the largest producers of uranium, and so we're going to struggle to find enough supply. And since 2021, we have seen uranium prices go up from sub $30 a pound to hitting a high of over $1 at the beginning of this year. We're sitting at around $83 a pound, but that also will move up. On the production side, we're seeing more and more M&A action. Assets are moving into production with Langer Heinrich and Honeymoon. There seems to be more money going to the sector, and we believe that we'll start to see more assets moving up that production curve, and we look to take advantage of that as well.
Just finally, Caroline, with these permits secured in Niger, the company now has a busy schedule of exploration works planned. What are the key near-term milestones that investors should be keeping an eye out for?
Sure. Earlier this year, we completed a trenching program, which really validated our understanding of the mineralisation and the geological setting of our assets, particularly near the targeted area where our current resource is. That work has been released to the market, but now we're waiting on the assay results. And so we're expecting to release the results of that trenching program and the assays from that trenching program relatively shortly. Now, that work has really been to advance our understanding of the overall permit. But when we acquired this asset, we immediately did 5,500 metres of drilling, which was important because it allowed us to upgrade our resource. So now we have 31.1 million tonnes at a grade of 315 parts per million, for 21.5 million pounds of U3O8. So those permits that we have historically already had around 30,000 metres of drilling, taking into account also the 5,500 metres of drilling that we've done. So We have a pretty good understanding of the assets. We've done some other soil sampling work, which has indicated some incredibly high grades, including 26% and 34% U3O8. The trenching program has also indicated that we're likely to see high grades of mineralisation near surface, higher than what we have seen in our resource at Targeted. And now we will look at the beginning of next year to implement on the ground program to basically test our understanding of the mineralisation within the targeted area, but also outside of that within our tertiary reservoir permit. Our main objective ultimately is to increase our resource, to identify new areas of mineralisation across the permit, and also to deepen our understanding of mineralisation within the region. So that's what our plan is for our Agadez projects. We'll also be looking at doing some work on the ground with a field program in Saskatchewan at the Lamont Lake Uranium project as well.
Thanks, Caroline. Appreciate your time and all the best.
Thank you.